Simon's Trading Channel. Don't adjust your screens. I'm in a poorly lit room. It's too complicated to explain, but I hope you're well and you can at least see half of my face. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos, and let's just dive straight in with the price action analysis. So as you can see, it looks like there's a little pullback coming, which I suspected was going to be the case. This is a daily time frame, so I'll jump down to the 4 hour to look at it in a bit more detail. But with 4 hours left, I kind of think that most of the trading today is probably done, and therefore the revisit to 63 might potentially be the pullback. But clearly, you don't know that on the daily time frame until it closes, and that's in 4 hours. So treat that with a pinch of salt. To give an idea of what happened to what was the weekly closure. So yeah, the weekly closure was, as I suspected in yesterday's video, pretty much where the price was when I recorded the video. And if you compare that to CME, yeah, there was a bit of a difference, which has been kind of made up now, and now there's hardly any difference between the price between CME and the perpetual exchanges. So all kind of equaled out. Now on a will I look at momentum? Yes, I will. And poof, magically the MACD has appeared. I had to pause the video to put it on. I've got the moving average on, which I don't generally have on, but I've just done it for a bit of a laugh. And you can see that it did close green, as in turning back up on this closure. Now it's back red, but that doesn't matter because we've got to wait until next Sunday to get the next weekly closure. It's interesting that it'll continue falling though. The MACD, so the momentum will continue falling while Bitcoin is below 64.2, which is nearly $1,000 away from where it is now. That makes me think that if this isn't just going to be continuing to drag on that sideways and down like it has been on this weekly time frame, I think by the end of this week Bitcoin needs to be at least above 64.2, which is pretty much the wick of this this weekly candle. I think if Bitcoin can do that at minimum, then it's likely to have an attempt towards 70,000. But I think if Bitcoin closes a weekly candle below there, 64.2, well then it's probably a bit more sideways and down, rather than more of a, yes, this is going to be the move that breaks Bitcoin, out of its shackles that it's been in for so many weeks now. I hope that makes sense. It does in my mind. I hope I explained it in a way that it does in yours too. Now, I'm going to jump back to the daily. So yeah, I already looked at that. You can see the daily MACD is indeed above the zero line, and it's a fair distance from the zero line, and it will continue to the upside above 61.7. So just go to 62, which was of course, top of the range that I had with the blue line in the last video. And so I think during this week, Bitcoin could retest that sort of 62 if this pullback continues. But I wouldn't want to see many daily closures below it. So that's worth thinking about as well. Now the 4 hour, which will probably give us a bit more of an insight. Yeah, so I'll chuck a little Fibonacci retracement on here. This is when it gets a bit subjective, right? Maybe, yeah, okay, let's do it on the hourly, but it would have been the same on the 4 hour. So if I say that I think this move started here, and I think it ended there, I mean, it's obvious where it ended. Perfect double top there prior to this bit of a pullback. And Gann, that wise trader, said never ignore double tops on any time frame. That is a perfect double top. And so you can see that the price has already retraced to the 382. The kind of golden pocket is somewhere between 382 and the 618. And what levels do they come in? Well, the 618, which is obviously the lowest of them, for a pullback comes basically in at 62,000. And so I think pullbacks down to there on 4-hour to daily timeframes are all fine and legit. But you wouldn't really, or I wouldn't personally want to see any daily closures below 62 for continuation to the upside. And I hope I've explained that in an understandable way as well. From a trend point of view, you can see the hourly MACD is below the zero line, and you can see that momentum on the hourly is to the downside, or about the 4-hour. Yep, still to the upside. Already did that, Simon. If I get rid of the Fibonacci retracement just for now, from a trend point of view, you could draw a trend line on if you wanted. I'm not going to bother, but I would suggest that this kind of area, which is 62,000, I don't know, why did it not draw a line then? Come on, draw a line. Draw a line for me. So that's kind of drawn on at 62 and a bit, but 62,000 is definitely the key area. From a trend point of view, so looking at highs and lows, the obvious one, which you can again see on the daily, the obvious one to me there for sort of trend confirmation is here. And that's coming in way lower than the momentum figures that I just described to you. So low here, higher low, and some sort of smaller higher lows, but they're not so obvious. So I'd like to see Bitcoin, if it's going to pull back anymore, fine. If not, great. Come down to no daily closure below 62, then turn back up. And that will then be, I would think, the next obvious higher low. And indeed, I see a high, so lower high, higher low. This could be the next high, just depends on what happens with the price action, with another higher low, and then continue the trend. So I'm definitely mindful of the momentum figures I've already said, which is like basically 62 and 64, or wherever it was on the weekly. So weekly closure, yeah, you want the week to close out above 64 and change, and along the way, I don't particularly want to see any daily closures back below about 62. And I think that's where I'll leave today's video. Hope it's been useful. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't worry about the lighting. There's a reason for that, which I don't need to burden you with. And yeah, like and subscribe. Join me tomorrow for Tuesdays. Take care. Goodbye.